Hello, everybody. Ooh, that's some funky hair. Mm, That's not too bad. Let's try that. I am just gonna give everybody a few minutes to sign on. Say hello if you're out there. Hello, Karen. Thank you for watching. I am just trying to pin my hair back a little bit here. There we go. It's Saturday, and normally Monday to Friday I do live cooking shows. However, it's Saturday. So Saturdays I do my makeup shows. Hi Sue, how's it going? How you feeling today? Like I said, it's Saturday, and instead of doing my cooking shows, I do my makeup shows. So welcome to Makeup Schmakeup. And the reason I decided to call it Makeup Schmakeup is because like myself, I'm 46 years old, and I'm an author and a home cook, and I haven't always been a big fan of makeup because I never really understood it. I never really understood how to put it on, and what went with what and all that fun stuff or whatever, because I've seen all these beautiful women. Speaking of, hello Patsy. So we sometimes as women or whatever, we don't always understand the whole concept of what we're supposed to wear or not supposed to wear, and what, brushes to use and not use, and all that fun stuff there. So I'm just here to pretty much throw some makeup on today and just show you guys how easy it is. But oh, hi Newman, thank you for tuning in, honey. I'm actually going to, while I'm doing this or whatever, I've got a little funny story that I want to share with you guys. First things first, though, before I get to my little story, I am going to get my foundation brush ready as soon as I can find it. There it is. So some people prefer to use a foundation brush. If you're new at putting makeup on, I highly suggest the makeup brush over. Hold on a second there, I'm just gonna take these out. These blending sponges. Now, not that there's anything wrong with these, but I personally find them difficult to smudge, or what's the word I'm looking for? Spread my foundation. So I really enjoy the brush. Now, this liquid foundation, I've tried different ones in the past, like Maybelline and CoverGirl and stuff like that, and I do have allergies to certain makeup because I do have sensitive skin. However, this makeup is very hypoallergenic. It does not go on thick, and you don't need a lot of it to cover everything, and it doesn't feel weighed down. So this foundation, it is actually, the color is called Tulle, Tulle, and it is a mineral touch foundation, and it lasts a long time. Now, if you've never really used foundation before, some people, I found that with different brands of drugstore brands or Walmart brands or whatever, CoverGirl, so on and so forth, that I had to use a lot of foundation to cover my face. However, this handy dandy, I'm just gonna put up my brush here. This foundation is actually a dropper, and on a post earlier I had said 4 drops will cover your entire face. Now, I'm actually lightening up my drops because I even find that because my complexion is very fair, that 4 drops is even a lot. So I know it sounds crazy, but that's it. That's all I do. So I'm just going to dab it on. And as you can see, it's giving me... Now, I'm still working on the blending, so bear with me because I do, as I'm blending it, I am gonna need to put my glasses back on because I know that I'm going to have spots that are missed. That's what happens when you can't see very well, but I just wanted to show you how easy. And again, I just continue doing this with my brush. And this is why I prefer the brush over the sponge, because I find the sponge, it absorbs your foundation. This, although it absorbs it, it spreads it more smoothly, and I find that the brush is nicer on the face. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't feel rubbery like that sponge thing is. But that's just my opinion. I see a lot of women that use those sponges, and they wet them first before they use them, so that they get a smoother blend, and it works really, really well for them. And I have tried it, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong. That's the joys of learning, right? All right, so this is the point where I'm gonna pop my glasses back on, because I'm sure that there's some spots that I've guaranteed that I've missed blending with my brush. Oh, there we go. Blend it a little more. Do. All right. I need to get my brows done again. I think I might get them waxed this time instead of threaded, because that was that was a little much. Oh, and there we go. That's it. So now my foundation is on, and it literally took 3.5, I'll say, drops and coverage. That's it. So now I'm just going to continue. It's cool to use the brush. Yeah, I prefer the brush definitely over the sponge, that's for sure. I find that it's easier to blend, and because the bristles are soft, like it's almost like I don't know, it's like rubbing your hand, like it's just very soft instead of this I don't know, more spongy. Like I find it tough. So again, just my preference. But so that's it. That's my foundation coverage. So I'm just gonna continue putting my makeup on like I normally would, and I'm gonna tell you my little story now. So a few weeks ago, well, hang on, let me go back just a little bit more here. As some of you know, we found our family in New Brunswick very recently. Patsy is my sister from another mother that I haven't been able to hang out with since we were little kids. And we found her and her sisters and her dad, and we found some cousins on my mom's side. And so anyways, while we were down there catching up and getting to know each other, I'm just putting some contour on. So while we were down there getting to re-know each other, and we got to meet some new family that we hadn't had a chance to meet yet, and we were sitting around telling stories. Well, a few weeks ago, my husband and I were sitting on our couch, and it was football Sunday, and all of a sudden this person came up to our door, and I was having a bad fibro day. So I guess I looked a little cranky when I answered my door, right? So it is what it is. Um, so I went and answered the door, and this lady was standing there, and she was from the Jehovah Witness. Now, I'm not. It's not. This is not a religious story, and I'm not here to bash anybody's religious choices or anything like that by any means. I, however, have never been much of a religious person. I have my beliefs. I do believe that there's a higher power, and that when people pass away, that they, we have our angels watching over us and all that. But again, to each their own. So, anyways, this lady shows up, and she's from the Jehovah Witness, and she wanted to share her story and talk about the Bible and whatever it is that they're trying, their message that they're trying to get out there. So when I answered the door, because you're why are you watching and driving? Shut your phone off, you silly lady. Drive safely, and just hop on when you're home. You can replay the message later, okay? I love you. So while I was answering the door, this lady from the Jehovah Witness or whatever, like I said, I guess I looked cranky because I was having a bad fibro day, and I just I wasn't in the mood to really have company. So she didn't stay long because, again, I guess I looked cranky. And she just handed me a flyer and went along her way, and that was that. So a few days ago, or not a few days ago, a few hours ago, we had just come back in from letting the dogs out and sitting down on the couch, and all of a sudden we noticed that this vehicle is pulling up. And I looked at my husband because he had just come out of the washroom and all that, and I said, do me a favor, check outside to see if someone's here, because I think I saw a vehicle pull up. So he goes and he checks, and at first we just assumed that because the trailer that's across the street from us was for sale, and the people had purchased it, and they've been having deliveries and stuff like that for the last few weeks. We thought that maybe perhaps it was them because they were parked in that general area. However, it ended up being the ladies from the lady from the Jehovah Witness that was here a few weeks ago, and she came back to check on me. So I kind of got a little bit of a giggle out of that. So instead of me going out, my husband went out this time or whatever, and he stood outside and spoke to them, and they said their thing and he said his, and whatever. But it just made me it brings me back to when we went to our trip to New Brunswick this past summer, and we were sitting down having a conversation with my mom's cousins, and they were telling us about their aunt, which would be my mom's aunt as well. And hi, Louise, how are you today? So we started talking about this one aunt that which would be my great aunt, that was a very religious woman. Most of my mom's adopted family were religious. So anyways, they were talking about how my aunt had gone and bought, from my understanding, it was a family home kind of, and at that point in time they had just come out with the smoke alarms that beeped. Well, they my two aunts, the one that had purchased the home and her sister, had gone around with their incense and their rosaries and so on and so forth, and they were blessing the house. Well, as they were blessing the house, the smoke from their incense or whatever it was that they were burning to ward off spirits, set off these smoke detectors in the house. And my aunt, not knowing what was going on, grabbed her holy water and started whipping it at the smoke detector, yelling, "Who are you? What do you want?" So when these people showed up today from the Jehovah's Witness, I really sat there cracking up because that's all I could think of was that story. Oh, good times, good times. Oh my goodness. So that's the beginning of my Saturday. Hopefully everything else goes as fantastic as that did, because that was just it's nice when you bring up good memories. Sitting there this morning with my husband, and we were just talking about how surreal life is starting to become for us. We are going to be moving in the spring of 2019. So I'm super excited about that. We both are, to have a fresh new start. We're going to be moving out to New Brunswick. And it's going to be nice because it's been 40 years since I've been home. And I was telling my husband this morning how it's very bittersweet for me in a sense, because of my past and because of things that I've gone through in my life. When my mom and I finally settled, I'm just gonna put my glasses back on here because I need to clean my brush. So when my mom and I finally made it to Sudbury in 1986, we got to meet some really fantastic people, and because we were always on the go, I never had the opportunity to stay in one place very long to make friends. So when I should check to see what color I want to put on. When I arrived, when we finally made it to Sudbury and decided that Sudbury was going to be our permanent home, I was very, very fortunate to meet my very best friend and sister, Chantal, who is, I know she's not watching right now, but I know she's probably going to tune in when she gets back from her course today. So I met Chantal, which led me to meeting my brother-in-law, Alex, which led me to meeting my now husband, Stacy. And I was just telling him how bittersweet this really felt. It's really great that we're going home. I am super, super excited to be able to start over and bring mom home and, help her realize that all these years of running from, unfortunately, her schizophrenic truth is now going to lead us to having family around again, because we never had family, right? So when we got to Sudbury, it was nice to have that family back again, because it took us I don't know, almost 7-8 years from the time that we left New Brunswick completely, until we arrived in Sudbury to stay. And although I'm gonna miss Sudbury, and although I've considered Sudbury my home pretty much since 1986, it's going to be nice to also close my Sudbury chapter and put it, in a sense, behind me, because I've had a lot of good and bad things happen while I was here in Sudbury, just like my husband has. He's originally from here. And, you know, he was saying the same thing, although he loves Sudbury because, you know, it is his home. This is where he was born. It'll be nice to start over and have, you know, have that fresh new start and leave the bad part of Sudbury behind us and be able to move on and remember all the good stuff, all the wonderful memories, and want to come back to Sudbury, because when we left Sudbury 5-6 years ago now, we headed out to Timmins because there was no work going on in Sudbury at the time. The mines were laid off, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, we headed out to Timmins, and we were glad to be out there. We were glad to be away from Sudbury, because every time we came back here, or everything that we were trying to do, was just, everything was stopping us. There was always something in our way, always something not working for us, or, you know, whatever. So we were getting really fed up with Sudbury and welcomed the change when we had the opportunity to go to Timmins, because Timmins at that time was very much like Sudbury was when I first arrived here in 1986. It was not so crowded and overpopulated, and I don't know, less rude people. I don't know what it is lately, but I just find that there's a lot more people in a hurry for no reason, people that don't pay attention, people that just really don't care. And that bothers me, because that's not how I remember Sudbury being when I first got here in 86. But either ways, I will miss Sudbury, because I still have family and friends here, people that I've gone to high school with, and people that have been there for me from, you know, being from my marriage, or having my children, or being divorced, or, you know, whatever. Everybody at one point in time, or most of the people on my Facebook list have been a part of my life in person. So it's, like I said, it's going to be nice for the change, but it's going to be nice to have that freedom. We're going to be set up better as far as, you know, living, or we're hoping to anyways, once we actually do find our perfect place. And we're looking forward to career changes, and being around people that I've been kept from my entire life, because, again, unfortunately, of my mom's schizophrenic beliefs, which, again, my first book, if anybody's actually read it, Living Past Being a Victim, is what I call my dad's story, right? And although it does describe some of the things I've gone through with my mom, there's a lot that it doesn't describe about my mom. So I was actually done writing, or so I thought, my second book, my mom's story, and then we come to discover the family that I've been searching for forever, and through the wonders of Facebook. So Facebook's not always bad, people. Not always bad at all. But now because I still have a couple of more little unanswered questions because I really want to make sure that the story is complete before I publish it. I ended up not sending it into the publisher right away because I found out things that I grew up believing were true, only to find out that it was actually part of my mom's schizophrenic reality and not her actual upbringing. So that was it was a little difficult to take in, but I've always been a very strong believer of trying to figure out why my mom is the way she is, because she just when she was on, like she was she was fantastic, and anybody that knows my mom will say the same. You needed a place to go, you ran to Brenda's house, right? You needed a shoulder to cry on, or a parent to listen to you that that would actually understand and not be judgmental. You went to Brenda's house. If you felt like you couldn't stay at home anymore and you needed a place to go, you went to Brenda's house. It's just the way it was. And I've always been sorry, I'm just looking for my mascara. Where's my mascara? I'm gonna put my glasses back on. Maybe it'll help me find my mascara. It's probably in my bag. So yeah, so it was it's always been very important to me to understand why my mom is the way that she is, because it's been a big part of my life. I mean, her nervous breakdowns, her suicidal tendencies, her being fine one minute and not the next, that affected my life a whole lot. But I've been fortunate enough that there we go, that I've been able to come out the other side, right? And that's all that matters. So my mom's journey, she now has Alzheimer's with her schizophrenia, and that's a pretty big battle sometimes, because we just never know from one minute to the next if she's gonna have a schizophrenic moment or if she's gonna have an Alzheimer's moment. I have to say, anybody that's out there that takes care of your parent, their aging parents, can probably understand where I'm coming from. But I find that with schizophrenia and Alzheimer's mixed together, it's very hard. I think it would be easier to deal with one disease over the other, because with my mom being as schizophrenic as she is, she's been schizophrenic for years now. I'm trying to trace back exactly for how long, but it's quite some time. With her being schizophrenic for as long as she has been, the Alzheimer's, it would be really nice if it completely took over, so it would quiet her brain. I want that more than anything for her, because I just can't imagine what it must be like for her to literally just be tortured in her own mind all the time, having these voices telling her to do stuff, for like crazy stuff. One of the reasons that we had actually moved from a bigger place to a smaller place is we originally had our place set up so that we could have my mom over. However, because of her now more violent tendencies because of the voices, she tends to sometimes try to leap out of her wheelchair and kill me. So I honestly sometimes wish that her Alzheimer's would take over her schizophrenia, because I would really, although I'm going to miss conversations with her, the ones that she still does remember, I think I would be more at peace knowing that her mind isn't constantly going the way that it is, because it's scary. It's hard to watch an aging parent go through that. It's hard to watch them lose themselves, but it's even harder when you have two diseases fighting each other and you don't know from one minute to the next which one is going to be there. And I'm just really looking forward to this fresh new start out in New Brunswick, because I really think that her being surrounded by people that she does remember, but she has different memories of them because of her schizophrenic mind and her schizophrenic reality. I think it would be nice now to show her that there are people out there that have been looking for her for years and that do want her around, and that have wondered where she went and what happened to her. Because this poor woman has lived believing and running from people her entire life because she thought that no one cared, and she thought that no one would love her. And because of, I'll let you in a little bit of a secret. So, years ago, when my mom was a teenager, her story that she always told me when I was growing up is that her father, her adopted father, died of a heart attack when she was about 12, 13 years old. Now, her story goes that my grandmother would have gone into town or whatever to get supplies or whatever it was that she was stepping out for. My grandfather was sleeping, and he had heart problems. So my grandmother would have given my grandfather one of his heart medication pills, and my mom said she wasn't aware of it. So my grandmother went to the market or wherever she went, according to my mom's story. And while she was out there, hi Haley. Sorry, I didn't have my glasses on. Hi Glenn, I didn't see you guys tuning in. So anyways, while my grandmother was out at the market, my grandfather would have woken up and he was complaining of chest pains or whatever and asked for one of his pills. And my mom, being younger and not knowing any different, went and gave him one of his pills. And my mom's story goes, and again, this is her schizophrenic reality, not the truth, or so I've come to find out. Anyways, her schizophrenic reality story goes that when she gave her adopted father this pill, that's what ended up killing him. That my grandmother had her arrested and thrown in prison, and that while she was in there, she was brutally raped by a guard, and I have a brother that is 10 years older than me. I've searched for this brother for years and years and years, and I could never find him, and I just couldn't figure out why. And recently, when we went to New Brunswick this past summer, we spoke with cousins of my mom's that were actually there, or involved in the story of my grandfather's actual death. So although he did have a heart attack, he was actually driven home by his brother from the hospital. It was a big snowstorm, and they finally made it home. And the day after is when he passed away. My mom was not arrested or anything like that. She actually graduated high school in New Brunswick. So, kind of a crazy story. So, that'll be my second book. But, so, like as I've been doing my makeup here or whatever, I'm talking to you guys, I showed you guys the whole, 4 drops of foundation. I've been throwing on mascara, but lips. If you have thin lips, like I do, I found a neat little trick. I've tried doing the whole Cupid's bow coming down, and I find it difficult to do because my lips are so extremely thin. So what I do is I take my lipstick brush, and I actually start, and it's gonna look funny that I'm doing this, but push your lips out, pucker them up, and I go from the inside down out, so that way there I'm not over drawing my lip line, right? So and then you just fill her in. I don't know why I have a harder time doing it the other way. It feels backwards to me, and I find going outwards from the inside out, for me, works a little better. And then I just touch her up. So although my lines are not absolutely 100%, get up there. All right. You can just literally, I have a hard time myself. Here we go. With lip liner at the moment. Only because, like many people, I'm still pretty new at this, so but I'm trying, and I'm practicing, and I'm doing it every day. And so yeah, soon enough, like I said, I've been talking over the last couple of days or whatever that I've got some like really big news coming. I finished up a couple of emails last night, and hopefully, like I said, by this Friday coming, we will have complete information, and then I can start sharing a little bit more with you guys. But until then, there's your quick makeup lesson. Super easy, right? Nothing complicated. I used let me see. I used one product for my lipstick, and then I had 2 for my foundation. My mascara, 3, and then I used, oh no, not that one. My Sculpting Trio, 4, or up to 4 products, and I just want to make sure I grab the right color palette that I use, because I actually used, I used this one here is the palette number 1, and I used all the colors like eyebrows, eyeliner. I did it all from here, eyeshadows. That's it. So 5 products. Super simple, super easy, super fun. And so I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know exactly. I think tomorrow I'm gonna try a little bit of color. I'm gonna put something up later or whatever, and you guys can vote on, I don't know, I'm thinking something maybe, I really like the purples, although I used to not be so much into color. I'm thinking maybe like a brassy color. But I'm gonna post something later, and we'll see you then. Bye.